Hi, everybody. Today we're going to sum up what we've been covering in the last three segments on the Constitution and its relevance and meaning. Love your neighbor as yourself. The basic teachings of the founding fathers was that they had to agree to disagree. They had to find a way that each person could have a different view about government, different view of religion, and still be able to come together and agree on how to form a government that would be just and equitable for everyone. And so the beginning of the Constitution really is the beginning of civil development, how cultures and societies had to learn how to live together despite their differences, whether they be religious or whatever kind of differences didn't matter. And so today, that's the world we live in, is where people now want to divide culture into left and right issues. And so when did the Constitution stop being relevant? I think the Constitution, starting from Jimmy Carter's administration, started to place certain values on legislating morality instead of leading the people and serving the people's interests. Up to a point, there's always been corruption, but corruption started to take on a new name under the Jimmy Carter administration. That's continued through every president, from Ronald Reagan through Donald Trump. And so, if you ask me if I'm a liberal or a conservative, I'm neither. I'm a constitutionalist. I believe the Constitution is what we need to look at in these desperate times. So in this video, I'm going to look at different presidents, starting with the President Jimmy Carter, and then we'll go through the presidents until the current president, and also look at some of their candidates and see where we have gone wrong or possibly what we'll need to change to get our government back on the track of becoming a constitutional government and not a divisive government as it now is. Now, for the purpose of discussion, I'd like to read three quotes, one from Wayne Dwyer, another from Thomas Jefferson, and a third from George Washington. The ultimate ignorance is the rejection of something you know nothing about, and yet refuse to investigate. Wayne Dwyer.
You will have a greater knowledge of the world you live in when you finish this school than you had when you began. You're seeking after knowledge, and that's good, because knowledge is a foundation, my brother, of faith in anything. Without knowledge, you cannot believe nothing. And the reason a lot of you don't read the Bible is because you don't have any knowledge of it. And when somebody comes out here and tries to give you any knowledge, you scream at him.
Religious institutions that use government power in support of themselves and force their views on persons of other faiths or of no faith undermine all our civil rights. Moreover, state support of an established religion tends to make the clergy unresponsive to their own people and leads to corruption within religion itself. Erecting the wall of separation between church and state, therefore, is absolutely essential in a free society. Thomas Jefferson. Government is not reason. It is not eloquence. It is force. And force, like fire, is a dangerous servant and a fearful master. George Washington. Jesus saves. No, I mean Jimmy Carter can save America. Since Jimmy Carter became president, calling himself the born-again president, he was the prognosticator-in-chief whose faith would save the world. From the conception of Carter's administration with a social gospel through which he wanted to save the world, and by legislating equality into law, he became the first social justice warrior that is like we see more and more today. Carter's left leanings naturally led to the rise of the now president Donald Trump, but not at once. It started with Ronald Reagan and was followed by George Bush, who were presidents with religious right leanings. And while Carter's inclinations were leaning toward the left, both of these different religious ideologies clashed, and so did our government, bringing us to our present left-right controversies. And while the Founding Fathers had various views about God and religion, they had sense enough to know that bringing religion into politics was not a good mix, that religion was a personal matter, while government is there, like it says in the Constitution, to establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. So what went wrong? As I've explained in previous videos, in the Declaration of Independence, it talks about these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But what are these rights, and how are they assured? Well, they are assured by the Constitution. These truths presented in the Constitution, they are not laws that are required, that are needed. Now, presidents since Carter have been legislating morality, and in so doing, not promoting the common welfare of the public. And so many issues today are what I call wedge issues, because the laws aren't designed to make moral decisions for us. We, by our own conscience, are responsible for our moral choices. And then the laws reflect our moral decisions, not based on our personal beliefs of how we are to live together as a society. So every president since Carter has been trying to legislate their own social gospel, their own version of the Bible, if you will, where the Bible has been cherry-picked, both by the left and the right, just to serve the government's self-interests and not the general welfare of the people. So if we're to have a civil society, we have to have differing views and beliefs, and we have to diligently guard the liberties of those who don't share our views, so that each person can be responsible for their own moral choices. And in that way, we can guarantee and support freedom for all.